Are you setting your Google ads up based on what you're willing to lose? If you are, pause your campaigns right now. Arbitrary budgets pause the algorithm and kill your results. In this video, I'll show you why standard budget advice fails, and if you stick around to the end, I'll expose the hidden rule that Google uses to blow past your daily budget. I'm Jesse from New Era Marketers. Our company manages between 6 and 7 figures worth of ad spend every single year, often taking over accounts from owners who have been bleeding money with underfunded or broken campaign structures. So we're not just talking about theory here. This is exactly what we do in our agency to ensure that our campaigns are properly funded and properly performing. So let's jump in and get started. To stop wasting money on Google ads, you need to understand the difference between investment and expense. The most common mistake we see businesses making is the arbitrary budget trap. If you're picking an arbitrary number, 500, 1,000, 1,500 a month for Google ads just to test the waters, you're throwing money away. Google's an auction system driven by AI learning, which sets the appropriate bids depending on the likely success. So with Google, since you only pay per click from your ad to your website, you need to ensure that you have adequate budget. If you have a $500 budget a month, but your cost per click is $15, you're barely going to get 1 click a day. That is nowhere near enough information for the algorithm to learn what's appropriate for you and what clients are going to buy. Therefore, you're going to end up buying low quality clicks because you simply can't afford to get in front of the buyers that are going to take action. Before we move on how to reverse engineer the exact budget you need, a quick reminder. If you want to keep learning how to protect your ad spend and lower your cost per new customer, make sure to subscribe to our channel. To actually get Google to find buyers, we need to inject real data-driven math into your campaign budgets. Don't worry, it's not complicated. We'll do it together. So the fix is engineering your cost per new customer. Instead of starting with a budget that you want to spend, start with what you can afford to acquire new customers. So you need to know your average conversion rate of a lead and your average job value and your profit margin. For example, if we use this formula, the break-even cost per acquisition is your average order value times your profit margin. So if you sell a $200 service, but your margin is 50%, you can afford to spend up to $100 to acquire a new customer. So in order to implement this, you aren't just going to throw a random number into the Google budget. You're going to use 1 to 2 times your cost per acquisition or your target cost per acquisition. So on our end, you want to ensure you're getting at least 15 to 30 conversions in a month in order for Google to learn efficiently. So going back to your example of a $200 service and a 50% gross margin, that gives you $100 net profit to acquire a customer to break even. So with that, if your target cost per acquisition at this point, while we're learning, knowing that these results will improve over time, it'd start with $50 per day. So with that, you want to be spending anywhere between $1,500 and $3,000 per month. That would get you around 1 to 2 leads per day, which would be more than enough for Google to start learning efficiently. It also gives you a bit of breathing room for those days where things don't go right in order to compensate for the days that go really well. So one day you might get 0 leads, the next day you might get 4, the next you might get 2, the next you might get 3, the next you might get 1. So you'll find that in the first few weeks of Google ads, your leads will be a bit inconsistent in terms of results, and that's why we want to give you a bit of breathing room at that 1 to 2 times cost per target acquisition. Now, if you don't know your numbers yet because you haven't run ads and you're not sure what your profit margin would be after your expenses or how many leads you're going to close, and therefore you're not entirely sure about the target cost per acquisition, you still don't need to guess. We'll use clicks instead. So the rule of thumb is you want at least 300 clicks a month. This assumes in the month you're getting at least 6 leads to 18 leads at a 2% to 6% conversion rate. 300 clicks is enough to decide whether Google Ads is working for you. Anything below that, you haven't really got enough people to your website to confidently say whether Google Ads is working for you or not. So the math is simple. If we go into the keyword planner and look at the average cost per clicks by your core keywords and then multiply it by 300, you'll get your average monthly budget. So over here, we're looking at a plumber in Sydney that's looking for local plumbing services. Now, the average cost per click's anywhere between 16 and 60, 2 and 12, 16 and 62. So you want to look at the averages of these columns and say, right, at a general point, let's say it's around 30-ish per click. You want to start with a budget of around 9,000. Now, this would ensure that you are very competitive in your market because you're looking at the middle range around here so that you're not at the bottom of page 1, you're at the position 1 to 2 of the page, and you're ensuring that you're able to spread your budget across a volume of keywords, say 30 to 40, ensuring that you're getting a wide range of traffic. Now, it's important in this step to ensure that you have a relevant product or service that's going to generate these returns. So for plumbers, their AOV is usually in the thousands of dollars per job, depending on what they're installing or what they're fixing. But for them, a $9,000 budget would be sustainable if they manage to get anything in the 5 to 10 jobs, generally speaking. Now, everyone has different margins, everyone has different products and services, and everyone sells in a slightly different way. So these are generic forecasts, but you want to make sure that the budget that the clicks indicate is going to be something that's attainable for your services. Again, at the start of Google Ads, you just want to make sure that the ball is rolling, that the phone is ringing, that leads are coming in, and that you're starting to get positive results. It doesn't have to be straight in day 1, but month 1, you want to make sure that you're getting positive results. Now, reverse engineering your target CPA and funding your campaigns efficiently is critical, but just having the right budget stops your account from being underfunded and starving the algorithm. It doesn't automatically mean that your campaigns are structured efficiently and they're going to perform at a high rate. If you want our expert team to look at your account and tell you what we think you should do with a free Google Ads audit, click the link below and we'll give you a breakdown as to what we would do if it were our money. We manage our campaigns with 100% transparency, so you know exactly what deals are coming in from the ads and what you're closing and what you're not. So you can focus on closing deals and we can focus on managing the account. Now, after you've done that, go watch this next video on how you can set up your conversion tracking correctly to ensure that you know exactly what you're getting for your Google Ads spend. I'll see you over there.